Hello there guys and welcome to the final race of the Interleague Kraken here in Abu Dhabi. Well, as you can see, I'm just seeing if I just put the safety car options correctly, because I once again Bonny decided that I will be the one who will run the lobby. So yeah, I was just checking if every setting I put it that Bernie told me to put was correctly placed, and well, hope I did so. And I was just checking if the safety car options is put it in immersive instead of broadcast, in order to not make the same mistake as I've done in the previous race in Mexico. Meanwhile, I was just in the decision of choosing one of the two setups for tries in Abu Dhabi, because yeah, I just have one setup that Angel Ruperto suggested me, and the other is the one I just got from the time trials. And on the time trials, I think it's faster the setup, but I think it'll be a little bit more steery, and also I think it'll have more tire wear. And meanwhile, the setup that Roberto suggested me, I had practiced that thing few minutes before the qualifying, and I just felt a little bit comfortable, and I was feeling a little bit confident about that, so I decided to choose that one and go for the qualifying and the race. And speaking of Ruperto, he's going to be my new teammate, replacing Bonny, because Angel Ruperto is a pretty fast driver, and we're just 7 points behind ERL for the Constructors, and we need to win the Constructors Championship. So if we want to be more sure to win the Constructors, we need to get fast drivers, and they replace Bonny with Angel Ruperto. So Ruperto is going to win the race, I think so. If he doesn't make any horrible mistake, he'll win the race as usual. So, well, meanwhile we're just in the out lap, heating up our soft tires in the straight, and let's get ready for the first flying lap. And I checked the weather forecast, and as usual, it's not going to rain. Why are you expecting rain in Abu Dhabi? Because it's a desert, and you know, it's not probable that rain happens. So, well, meanwhile we're into turn 9, heating up our tires, and well, hope we can make a decent lap time and 2 more betters. Well, I just said that thing very wrongly. And well, meanwhile we're into the final sector, heading into the hotel section, and now we're into the penultimate corner, heading into our first flying lap. Now deploying my ERS and putting the fuel settings to standard instead of lean, and we're beginning our first flying lap, heading into turn 1, breaking into the 100-meter mark a little bit decently, not good enough because we just missed the apex. Into turn 3. This is turn 4 now, it's not a lot of a turn. And meanwhile, we're just seeing that an ERL driver was trying to cede my place, but I think he just did in a terrible way. I almost crashed with him, but it didn't ruin my lap, so nothing to worry about him. Now breaking into turn 6, I think so, into the slow section, into third gear, exiting turn 7, now into turn 8, that isn't much of a corner, theirs is wide open, into the second straight, now critical 6 provisional pole, now into turn 9, breaking into the 50-meter mark, a little bit wide, but still nothing to worry about it. Now into turn 10, into those corners, heading into the hotel section, into turn 12, I think so, a little bit wide, but it's not that it'll be ruining my lap. It'll be ruining if I would look up my tires and gone into the runoff area. Heading into the last sector, Angel Ruperto sets provisional pole position, nothing to be surprised, and we just got into second place, 8 tenths lower than Ruperto. As you can see, he's really fast, and well, after that lap I just found exiting turn 1, but it's not worrying because I have already done my lap. So well, let's just head into the pit lane and the garage, and let's get prepared for our second flying lap. Well, in my second flying lap, heading into turn 4, I was setting the fastest sector 1. That's a little bit surprising for me. Into turn 5, I was a little bit wide, but still not to worry about it. There's wide open, and well, as you can see, I was running with my used set of soft tires because, as usual, I just set the balanced set of tire allocation, and with that thing we just only have 3 sets of soft tires, and I'm just going to use only 2, and I'll save 1 for the race. The race is wide open. I have already exited turn 8, and we're seeing that we're not improving, just improving by 1,000ths of a second, and unfortunately we just cut the 9th corner and we just got our lap time invalidated. Still, I decided to go on to see how much I would gain, but I'm just losing 0.2 of a second. Now into turn 12, I just got that corner really good, and we're seeing that I could really gain like a 10th and a half, but I decided to go into the pit lane and get prepared for our final flying lap, which is going to be with our new set of soft tires and with much more seriousness than the previous 2 ones. Now in my final flying lap, heading into the last corner to begin my 3rd and last flying lap. We begin with that lap, breaking into the 100-meter mark into turn 1. Let's see how much we're improving. Unfortunately, we're losing 0.04 of a second. Now we're seeing that we're improving by only 0.02 of a second. Meanwhile, we overtake the sitting Rico. Now into turn 5, we're just once again a little bit wide, but I think that's the ideal racing line, because if we touch the curb, I think we would lose a little bit of 100ths of a second. Now into the first straight, we're seeing that overall we're improving by 1/10 of a second. Now breaking into turn 6, unfortunately I didn't know where to brake because the reference points have been taken away, because some drivers, I think they ran with them. Now into the second straight, unfortunately we just lose 1/10 of a second, and we're seeing that we're barely improving by just around like 1/10 of a second. Now into turn 10, now 11, breaking into turn 12. Unfortunately we just locked up our brakes, and unfortunately we have to retire from the session because we are not seeing any improvements. So 9th place, not ideal place to qualify, but Ruperto gets pole position by an enormous 7/10 faster than 2nd place, or maybe less, because Flores is going to cross the line and he didn't improve. So yes, it's going to be a 7/10 pole position. Meanwhile, these are the qualifying results. Ruperto gets pole position, Flores 2nd, and Mati, my teammate, is in 3rd. Meanwhile, Terro and myself 8 and 9. So, well, if you pause this video, you may see the qualifying results pretty precisely. So, if you done that thing, well, let's head into a formation lap. I mean, before that, we're just heading into a pre-race strategy because you won't have a lot of context in the race. So, the strategy for the race, it's going to be a default medium hard, and well, we're seeing that tower is going to be a lot, because in the alternative strategy it's going to be a medium hard, and it's going to cost us less than 6 seconds. So it's going to be a hardware track. Meanwhile, we don't have any setup changes, and we just lowered the fuel down to 51 kilograms, although the screenshot says 50.9, but it was like a 10th before I filled down to 51 instead of 50.9. Yeah, I just went 1/10 too early, but without anything more to say, let's head into a formation lap. So, well, we're just waiting for the other players to get ready, so we begin the formation lap, and well, we're now beginning the formation lap. We're just waiting for Ricardo to get his game loaded, and now he has. And well, we're just doing the traditions of the formation lap, reacting right after the driver alongside me starts, and we're just doing the practice start. And as you can see, I was having a little bit contact with the wall, but it's not worrying because the damage is turned off during the formation lap. The only thing we have to worry is the drivers, because we don't want to crash with them, or else we are gonna get our grid slot reset, and it's not going to be a great time with that thing. Meanwhile, in the championship standings, THR is placing in second place in the Constructors, 7 points behind ERL, as I mentioned in the qualifying report. And well, the reason why they added Ruperto and they replaced Bonny, and it was because he's pretty fast. As you could see, he got pole position 7 tenths, well, 8 tenths faster than Flores, and we're just securing more the Constructors. So well, I think we're having a good time, and we may win the Constructors, and ERL may not be the favorites. And well, every constructor except SRS have mathematical chances, but that doesn't mean it's probable that they're going to win that Constructors Championship. And TW, I think they need to get a miracle to win their Constructors Championship. Meanwhile, for us, we don't need the miracle because we have Ruperto. We only need a 1, 2, 3 in order to win the Constructors. And well, hope we can do the thing. And unfortunately, we made contact with Trapper. This means that we are going to get our grid slot reset, and that's pretty bad for us. We have to wait painful seconds to get to get the race started. Meanwhile, we're just seeing other drivers parking the grid slot, and meanwhile we're just suffering with our grid slot reset because we made contact with a driver. And well, we're just waiting for the race to start, and well, we're just going to wait some painful seconds. Meanwhile, the tires will get cooled down to 70 degrees Celsius if they don't get in time, and the race is going to start with the 5 red lights being turned on and with the tires being really cold. And we're on the way for the Abu Dhabi final race of the Interleague Kraken, and we're having a decent start despite having our tires really cold. And we're seeing into turn 1 that it's going to get a clean getaway, and we're up into 8th place, and we're aiming for more drivers to be overtaken by myself. Meanwhile, tires are at 74 degrees, and I decided to not go for a dive bomb into turn 5 because I didn't have the confidence enough to make that dive bomb, because look at the tires, it's pretty cold, and I may lock up and make contact with the Pisa, and that's not going to end well. And well, into turn 6 I decided to leave space with Tero in order to make a fair battle, and well, I defended that place, and well, we got a clean getaway. That's pretty good for us. Now into lap 2, heading into turn 1, unfortunately I just went wide into a runoff area, and we're seeing that Kraken has spawned into turn 3, and we're up into P7. And meanwhile, in the third lap, we're seeing that Kraken has spawned in the same corner as Kraken has spawned in the previous lap, and we're seeing that Flores is out of the race, and the virtual safety car has now deployed, and well, Flores is now out of the race, and that converted into a full safety car. I was planning to box for hard tires and stay out for the next 26 laps, but I was seeing if the tire wear is going to be a little bit concerned, but unfortunately it would be, so I decided to stay out and not box for hard because I know that the hard tires won't get into the end of the race after being ridden for 26 laps, so it's not going to be a worthy risk. So, well, meanwhile, we're just checking the places and we're just going to stay out behind Visa and hope we can overtake him in order to begin and make a 1-2-3-4 for THR and make a dominant win for the Constructors Championship. So hope we can do this thing, and meanwhile we're just heating up our tires and well let's hope we can get a quick relaunch and overtake the Visa in the next few corners after relaunch. So safety car is in this lap. We are heating our tires higher than 80 degrees Celsius in order to get to our optimal temperature and not get our tires pretty cold. And hope we can get a great relaunch in order to maintain the gap between the Visa and myself and to overtake him in these two straights. So hope we can do this thing, and meanwhile we're just getting our tires to our optimal temperature, and the safety car is going to end in a brief moment, and the safety car is going to end heading into the last corner. We're just getting a decent relaunch, not to worry about it, into turn 1. Let's see if we can make a great cornering. Unfortunately I just went a bit wide, but that's not concerning. Into turn 2 we're just seeing if someone will spin. I don't think they have spin, but well, we're just heading into turn 5. We're just maintaining the gap with the Visa and planning to overtake him in the next few corners or the next few laps. Now into turn 3, into lap 7, I was just waiting for an opportunity to overtake the Visa, but he has spun and we're up into P4, so that means that, well, we didn't have to wait for an opportunity to overtake him because he's spun and we're up into P4. And meanwhile we're just seeing that Mati is trying to overtake Valiant around the outside into turn 6. Let's see if he can do this thing. No, he cannot, and he's gone a bit wide and he may have his turn 7 a little bit affected, but we're seeing that we're making a 1-3-5 for our team THR. Angel Ruperto is leading the race, so we're destroy ERL into pieces, and the second place isn't even an ERL because Valiant is an SRS driver, so we're scoring way more than 7 points to ERL and turned into even into the top 6, so we might have a 50+ point lead to ERL. So if we make a 1-2-3-4, we'll destroy ERL way more into pieces. So let's catch Valiant and overtake him after Mati overtakes him, and we're heading into lap 8, so hope we can see Mati overtake him and then overtake Valiant in the next few corners after he's overtaking him. Now into lap 8, we're seeing that Mati is trying to overtake Valiant into the first straight. We're having a little bit of DRS. We're seeing that Valiant is trying to defend around down the inside into turn 6. Mati is trying to overtake him. Unfortunately he couldn't do his thing, but he's trying to do his thing successfully in the second straight. DRS is wide open, and we're seeing that Mati is trying to overtake Valiant around the outside into turn 9. He's overtaking him, and he is successfully overtaking him, and he's up into second place. So we are making a wide 2 for THR. Meanwhile, in the next lap, it's our turn to overtake Valiant. He's locked up a little bit his brakes, and the RS is wide open. We are nearby him in the first straight, so we have chances to overtake him. The ERS is now deployed all of ours, and into turn 6 we're just braking decently, but we just made contact and we're just leaving him space, but I think he cut the corner and Well, I think that was a bit controversial for me, and we're up into third place. And as I said before, it's a bit controversial because I just made contact with him and I pushed him wide, cutting the corner. So yeah, a little bit dirty for me, but I just left him space. But I think he didn't feel comfortable with that space, and he didn't want to touch that sausage curve into turn 7, so he decided to cut the corner. So that's a bit controversial for me, but we're up into P3 and making a 1-2-3 for THR. Now into lap 10, we're just maintaining that place because the rest of the drivers that are in front of me are my teammates, so we don't have to fight them. We don't have any needs to them, and we're seeing that there's yellow flags in the last corner. I think someone has crashed, and that resulted into a safety car, a full safety car, and despite that no one got DNF'd, and we're boxing 4 cards now in this time. So well, I hope we can maintain that third place and hope that Terro overtakes Raptor and Valiant, so we can make a 1-2-3-4 for THR and destroy ERL into pieces. So safety car is in this lap. Safety car is in this lap. After we box 4 hard tires, we've maintained our third place, and Terro has got up into 5th place. I think he's got an advantage in the pit lane, so good job for him. So if he overtakes Raptor, we'll make a 1-2-3-4 for THR and destroy ERL into pieces. So hope Terro does that thing. Meanwhile, we don't need to get a great relaunch because we don't need to overtake them because those are my teammates. And instead, we don't have to overtake them. And I don't want to cause them controversy around THR. So safety car is about to end. Heading into the last corner. We don't need a great relaunch. Just a relaunch decently enough to maintain our place and not being overtaken by Raptor. Meanwhile, we just went a bit wide into turn 1 and Raptor is trying to overtake us, but I decided to close him the door into turn 2. Fortunately, I could defend my place. I decided to defend from the inside. I decided to defend from the outside instead. Into turn 5, we made contact and, well, Terro is now up into P4, but I decided to let Terro pass me because I felt that he was really fast and he was faster than me. Into turn 6, reaching the Valiant tried to overtake us, and unfortunately we just I think that's the thing Valiant was afraid of, and he just got out of the order, and unfortunately we've been overtaken by Raptor, Stockemilian, Jovan, Valiant and Gludak, and we are down into P9, and unfortunately we just got involved in a crash, damaging our front wing, but I don't think it's not enough to box for a new one, so let's just stay out. As long as the engineer doesn't say us to box for a new wing, everything is a little bit decent, but still it's a little bit ruined my race. But we're up into P7, but it's not the place I wanted to be. And well, in P6, because Stockemilian has a 5-second time penalty, and if the penalties get applied, well, we're up into P6 because we're less than 5 seconds behind him. So everything we have to do is try to be careful. I just went wide. I was a little bit afraid of being spun, but fortunately that didn't happen. I think I kept the understeer enough to not spin, so thank God I had a slightly damaged front wing, or else I would end up spinning and lose a lot of an advantage that has been taken away because of that crash, and I didn't want to lose more of my advantage. And well, let's just try to maintain that pace and hope we can overtake Jovan, although it seems a little bit impossible, but well, he may spin, so we can get up into P5. So let's see if this thing happens. So now into lap 16. I don't know how, but when you're into P5, after overtaking the now left Struck Chameleon, and we're seeing that Raptor is out of the race, and that deployed another safety car, the third, I think, safety car. That's just too much of safety cars that have been deployed, and I'm going to box for new mediums and with the new front wing, because I don't want to risk staying out with our old front wing and dropping out of the order because of the lack of speed in the corners. So let's box for new mediums and new front wing, although we'll drop out of the order, but it'll be a worth it gamble, I think so. And meanwhile we're just entering the pit lane as well as Jovan, so we're just seeing that some drivers are also boxing, as well as Naziwaland, Matti, and I think one other driver, but I don't know who he was. But we're just boxing for a new front wing, although it'll be some painful seconds to wait until the front wing gets replaced, and we're down into P14. Not good for us, but well, it's a cost that we'll make ourselves. And meanwhile we're just exiting the pit lane, and the only thing we have to do is heat up our tires and get to the bunch uphill and wait until the safety car ends and getting prepared for our great relaunch. And meanwhile we're behind to a left Sinaloa, and he's left, so the AI is controlling him, so that will make me a little bit of a disadvantage, because I think he'll be a little bit slow in the relaunch, so that's not going to be a good news for me. So well, it's going to be really hard, but still we're just trying to do our greatest relaunch in order to overtake Sinaloa as soon as possible after the safety car ended. So hope we can overtake him right after the safety car ends, and well, hope we can overtake way more drivers. So safety car is in this lap, safety car is in this lap. We're 11 laps to go, and if the place is still maintained, I think it's a THR 1, 2, 3 will win the Constructors Championship. So we're just cleaning up our tires, and I'm ready to overtake the drivers in order to get some points and extend way more the gap between us and ERL. So we're trying to get a great relaunch. First of all, we just try to overtake Sinaloa right after we cross the finish line, and we've done that thing, and we're seeing that we're up into P11 because Medina and Netherlands both have penalties. Netherlands has a 3-second time penalty, meanwhile Medina has 2 of them, and we're almost crashed into Medina. And we're seeing that Rico is has done something wrong with him, and we no way, that's just pretty bad for us, because we made contact with Medina and we just lost a few seconds, and well, we're up into P12, P11 because Medina has a 3-second, 2 3-second time penalties. Ivan is overtaking us around the outside into turn 6, but unfortunately we just pressed the throttle too early and we dropped down to P17. That's not good for us, and hope we can make a comeback, but it's going to be a long way to go. But meanwhile we're just trying to do our best, and first of all let's overtake once again the now left Sinaloa into turn 12. I think before even into turn 11, no, into turn 12, and well, hope we can overtake Maxis and way more drivers. And well, meanwhile let's just go fast and let's not bottle up once again. Meanwhile we're now into lap 20, yes we are, and into turn 1 we're just going to get the cornering speeds a little bit competitive in order to overtake more drivers. And we're seeing that there's yellow flags, and we're seeing that Ivan has spun exiting turn 2, and I think that the damage has been so much that he had to retire from the race, and that deployed a fourth safety car. The fourth safety car has been deployed. I decided to stay out, although I have in my mind box for soft tires, but I decided to not risk because I didn't have the confidence enough to box for soft, because I was really concerned about the tire wear, and I didn't know if the soft tires will get into the end of the race, if the softs are going to get into in the puncture territory, and I didn't want to risk to get the puncture and get my race absolutely ruined. So I decided to stay out and stay in P15. So, well, we are fast forwarding onto the end of the safety car, which is at lap 22. So safety car is in this lap. We're heating up our tires. In P14 we are. That's not good for us, but we're trying to overtake the most tires that we can in order to get some points and extend more the gap between the now destroyed ERL. Although we're not leading, but we're seeing that we're now winning the Constructors Championship, because I think it's a 1, 2, 3 for THR, I think so. But if it's not, well, still we're just going to win, because Ruperto is leading the race, I think so. But safety car is about to end. We are into the penultimate corner, ending lap 22. We're planning to get a great relaunch. Hope we can overtake those drivers in the first straight. And the safety car has now ended, crossing the finish line. Beginning lap 23, into turn 1, we're heading. The 100-meter mark is the mark that we're breaking. And, well, let's see if we can overtake some drivers. And Kiko has spawned once again and has his car reset. And we're up into P13. That's pretty good for us. And hope we can overtake Maxis into the first straight. Hope we can do that thing. Deploying all of my ERS, and we're seeing that Valiant has spawned exiting turn 5, so we're now up into P12. Hope we can overtake Maxis into the second straight, but I still am conserving a little bit of my ERS, and there's traffic, so hope they don't make a DRS train, because if they make that thing, well, it's going to be bad news for us. Meanwhile, we're just trying to overtake Maxis, but I decided to not do it because I was just trying to conserve my ERS, and instead I was just seeing if Maxis make a mistake, and that's the thing he's done. Running wide into turn 9, and we overtook him down the outside into turn 12. He was not giving up, but now we're completely overtaking him. And we're up into P11, that's pretty good news for us, and into P10 because Medina has a 6-second time penalty, so we're just going to get ascended into P10 because of his penalty. But unfortunately I just got a terrible exit into the last corner, and Maxis has overtaken us. And into lap 24, oh, we just rear-ended him, and he decided to, oh, no, what? Oh, no. You cannot do this to me. I thought he rear-ended me. I mean, he brake checked me, but I think he's got a snap of oversteer and decided to correct, but he didn't knew that I was right behind him and I couldn't have the reflexes to avoid him. And unfortunately I have my damaged front wing. I decided to stay out, although my engineer suggested me, and the race is now ruined for me. That's not good news for me. I was planning to box for soft to get the fastest lap at the end of lap 27, but I was realizing that Angel Ruperto has the fastest lap, so if I box for softs and sets the fastest lap, that'll be a lose-lose for us, because I'm outside the top 10 and the fastest lap point doesn't get received if you get the fastest lap but you're outside of the top 10, so that's pretty bad news for me, and the race is really ruined for me, and that's just painful. I tried to let those drivers pass me, because it'll be an unnecessary fight and I may end up spinning way more and drop into last place. So yeah, it's a pretty rough end of the season, and I was just reflecting if I was even contributing, if I was really needing them to win the Constructors Championship. I think I wasn't needed to win the Constructors Championship, or even needed to race. I was thinking that I wasn't necessary for them and I wasn't important for them, because I was thinking that if I wasn't for me, I mean, they would still win the Constructors Championship. But well, I decided to suffer way more, and I decided to continue with the race and finish the race outside of the points. So we're now into the final lap of the race, up into P12 but still outside of the points. Angel Ruperto wins the Abu Dhabi final race, and well, they make a 1-2-3-4 THR. Meanwhile, I'm alone down into P12, up into P11 because of the penalties getting applied with Maxis, and meanwhile Inmore is being overtaken by Maxis, but I don't think he's going to be overtaken by him. So Maxis ends up spinning while exiting the penultimate corner, so I finish basically in P11, and I make a rage spin in order to just get out of my rage. But still, I was just really mad about the result. A 1-2-3 of a THR. That's just I just got a rough taste for me. I wasn't happy about my results, and I was just thinking that I wasn't needed to win the Constructors Championship, or even needed a fourth driver for the championship, because they were so dominant. And Nimor gets the driver of the day, and well, we're up into, well, we're outside of the points, and we won the Constructors Championship, but not in the way I wanted to end. So here we're seeing a THR podium lockout. Wish I could finish at least P4 to make a 1-2-3-4 for THR, but unfortunately, bad luck, because I didn't have reflexes, made that thing happen. And I was just thinking recently, while I was making the video, that I regret boxing for new mediums, and I could overtake Jovan and get into P4. Well, these are the race results, and well, we just got the championship results, the standings after the race, and we're seeing that THR has won the championship, 39 points ahead of ERL. So that meant that I, in reality, helped them to win the Constructors, because I scored more than 39 points. Yeah, I think I just had a terrible second half of the season, and well, that first half of the season made the main reason why we won the Constructors Championship, because third place and second place, third place in the season opener after my teammates didn't even score any points, and P4 in Brazil after I got my third place taken away, because well, in reality I just got third place illegally because of the glitches. P2 in Belgium, P6 in Bahrain. That started the downfall of me in this league. After starting from pole position, I think that pole made me cursed. Into Saudi Arabia, race to forget for me. I went up into a mental breakdown for like 2 days until I was mentally stable like Thursday, DNF in Saudi Arabia, then Mexico P7, not a good race for us, and in Abu Dhabi P11 outside the points. Not a good result for a second half of the season, but well, at least I have them with the Constructors Championship, and hope we can go for way better results in the second season. So have a nice day and see you in the next races. Goodbye.